as much as things change, they stay the same. That's not my words. That's the words of your dad when your man's going through a divorce with him. So yeah,
But we swear, your new dad's going to be really good. He's going to read your bedtime stories and everything. He's going to be great.
it's like, what did your old dad do? He took me to the bookies to back some horses. That was my Saturday trip.
But continuing this forward, though, we're at a time where we are on the edge of something new. We're at the start of something new. Something High School Musical song that I don't remember. We are getting a new executive producer for EastEnders, who will likely shake up the show entirely. If you've not been here before, if you're a new EastEnders fan, or just a new soap fan in general, Chris Clenshaw announced a long time ago that he was stepping down after the 40th anniversary. So we'd imagine that the new executive producer, which was announced to be Ben Wadey, will be taking on the reins as executive producer. Now, what do? They kind of mainline the direction of the show, the storylines, the cast, what they do, etc., etc. It's their job to run EastEnders and run it for the foreseeable. Chris Clenshaw's MO was very big, was short returns and a lot of long-term storytelling, whilst reshaping the show to be a very family-focused thing in its entirety. So, with that being said, how do we know what it's going to look like when Ben Wadey gets the reins? Now, I mean, the differences in comparison to the previous executive producer, Chris Clenshaw, we had a more crime-focused show. We had Ben Mitchell, Whitney Dean, and Gray Atkins to an extent, who were practically the main characters of that version of the show. Is Callum going to get a storyline? No. Ben's hurting, guys. Ben's really hurting. He needs this. He needs this pick-me-up storyline. We still had Phil trying to be a big criminal, like a crime boss, but an aging, tired Phil Mitchell. And the last straw was genuinely the Keeble stuff, where, yes, we did get the flashback episode because of it, but still, at the end of the day, I think everybody realised that the juice was not worth the squeeze. But with Ben Wadey taking over imminently, we don't exactly know when his episodes will come out, but it seems like he'll take the reins. He'll probably take the reins after the 40th. It's just they probably filmed a lot of the 40th stuff in this last month or so up to the live episode and probably beyond it. So obviously there'll be a crossover as to when Chris Clenshaw's episodes end and Ben Wadey's episodes start.
Yeah. And so this video is basically just what we want. Our wish list. We've probably done a few of these wish lists before with executive producers and stuff where we read the Reddit. And genuinely, we're just going to give our thoughts, what we want and what characters we'd like to see back. If Ben Wadey decides to go, I want 2 twats from both England and Ireland to help me write this show. And we can both go, thank you, Ben Wadey.
Don't hire us. Look, I'll take a cameo. If Walford After Dark can get on the radio, we can get on EastEnders. That's all I'm saying. That's not a disparaging comment. We love fellow podcasters in the EastEnders space, but yes. But and just to run through what happens, right? Coronation Street's currently undergoing the same process. Kate Brooks has taken over, and she's now having to change the direction of the show. She has axed many characters. She's gotten rid of characters she views as dead weight, characters who either are leaving because of how the show was previously and they've went, we're leaving at the end of our contract, or they decide, all right, Callum, all right, Bernie, all right, Felix, you have done nothing but dress the set. You're out. You're gone. We don't need you anymore. And you bring in new families, like Chris Clenshaw brought in the Knights and the new Mitchells. Like, those are his brain children. The Knights definitely got the main focus, having a really big storylines and really impactful moments. So, yeah, new characters to come in, maybe some returnees from the past, and some new families most likely on the way, but there will be some sad, unfortunate cuts. So, I know this is a wish list, but who's getting axed?
See, my picks are gonna be narcissistic because I don't care. Because I absolutely hate the character simply because of the fandom. It's not Eve. Callum, you've been
Yes.
nothing but a waste of space. Get the fuck out of our studio, mate.
Yeah.
Leave.
But
No,
don't kill him off, though. Don't kill him off. Let him leave. Don't kill off another gay character, please. Please, Ben Wadey,
I don't
please.
speak for Ash. Please kill him off. Give him the most tragic, the most brutal death you can possibly. He gets run over by a car, then a tank, then he gets punched to death, and then he gets
In a
stabbed,
video game.
and then he gets shot, and then he's gone, and then Ben comes back, and Jesus, a plane hits Ben, and he's dead. They're both dead.
Game.
Let's go. That's what I want there. Please do that to Callum and Ben, please. Just bring back Ben to kill him off. That would be great.
Otherwise, you'd imagine probably Bernie is on the outs. Felix, most likely on the outs as well. Chelsea is kind of on. I'd say like Chelsea and Zach are kind of on the edge of characters you kind of have invested a decent bit into, but also how well do they hold up? How much do they actually bring? Probably, perhaps maybe Anna. She's not really done much. Those are probably on fraud watch in terms of the producer. But wishlist. I mean, let's just theorize about what would we like a new family to be?
Diversive. What's the new woke term people are using? The first exclusive identity or the DEI?
The DEI.
Yeah. We want. Yeah,
that's an American thing as well. It's not even
a British thing. It's just I'm using the American terminology. They're hot at the moment. They have a lot going on. Yeah. Someone lost the Super Bowl or something. Yeah, I would like a new family. One being trans, 2 lesbian moms. Why not? I'm gonna try and make it the most woke in brackets, the most woke family I can. So like, give me a trans person as the kid, 2 lesbian moms, and the grandparents are 2 gay dads. And then their granddad's granddad is a black man. Because the internet would explode. So yeah, just give me that.
Okay. I'll take something like that. I mean, no, not entirely. Like, a bit excessive. I'll happily have a trans character. I think it's an important. Like, Hollyoaks is obviously it's been done in soap before, but it's not really done. It's not really been done as kind of openly and loudly as you would not want, but generally to share some light on the trans experience. I think it would be a really good way to, introduce probably a trans actor, but also in a way you try and have the character transition on screen, which sounds horrific and dysphoria central, but like a very honest and open depiction of the trans experience, I think would be a really good one to have. And Hollyoaks have been doing a decent job of it, as they have had a character come out as trans, and we've seen them slowly change. And it's been a really interesting way that they've formed it. And I think that EastEnders could do a really good job of it. I'd also, and this one's probably a bit more self-indulgent, I'd also like to have, I kind of want someone to go through the trials of being diagnosed with autism properly. I know that we've had Ollie, but Mick went private, and it's like, you're autistic, done. Which, knowing someone who did go private, apparently it is actually that easy. But like, a slow, maybe they don't understand for a while, maybe they spend a good chunk of their life just people realizing, yeah, they're a bit weird, them. And then at some point they have the epiphany that, I might have autism. And I'm not saying I'm perfect for the role. But I'm a method actor, you know what I mean? No, but I think that would be a really interesting angle to go. I'd like more of a. I do think we need a new family. I think it would be cool to get like a West Asian family. Maybe a Korean family. Just a family to settle in, kind of start like show new culture, just generally because London's a lot more diverse than EastEnders suggests. Like EastEnders is still quite I don't even. Everybody knows what I'm getting at. But just East Asian family, something like that. Just something different, something we've not really seen before. People think the idea of like, imagine if like Di Zhang has a family, that would be cool. But just a different approach and something that you can really put your mark on. In terms of like returns, what characters? Because I think Chris Clenshaw personally did a really good job of actually. He did a really good job of beefing up the families that are already there. Like, he brought in more Brannings to beef up the Brannings. He brought in a whole new branch of the Mitchells. He brought in the Knights when Lyndon needed family. Like, he did do a fairly good job at like placing some more members to the families. So, yeah, it's kind of an interesting. What storylines? Because there always has to be some social issues that get done. Always have to be some social issues. What sort of social story do you reckon they should try channel?
Well, I'm just going to do returns first of all. I'd like to see.
Yeah.
Obviously, I know she only returned last year for a week. Jane, if you can. I don't know, like, just, since Ian is keeping it real, like Ian Beale.
Jane and Masood?
Jane and Masood, or just Jane on her own, with Bobby maybe. And obviously she falls in love with Ian again, and then you have Cindy who's jealous and it's like, come here, Junior. Mama.
Poor Masood.
Poor Masood.
He's living his best life in the Cotswolds and you're trying to break him up already.
Well, look, they did it with Terry, they did it with Spencer. So Masood, you're added to the list. And Todd, don't forget Todd. For storylines, I'd like to see.
I can also throw a. I'd like to see the Butchers return in a new form. It's always been a stupid hope that they're gonna bring back Tiffany, Keegan, probably recast Liam again. Not the new one, just a completely different one. I know that she's no longer there, but if you wanted to, Cindy Jr. and Ricky as the Butchers and the Butcher Bakers, and you bring them back, and maybe you advance it. Maybe Tiffany and Keegan have had some kids, or at least they're still in love and they're still living their best life, and you kind of get to you get to fully start to remind people, and then in the same way you have that Taylor connection because you still have Keegan, you still have Felix and Bernie, like you still have some family on the show, and I think it would be a cool way to reincorporate the Butchers, which as a name it's kind of fallen through the wayside. Pat's gone, Janine's gone. I think it would be a really cool. I just want Ricky back essentially, and it would be cool to see Tiffany and Keegan back as well. Tiffany and Keegan were a kind of bright spot of that like 2021, 2022 kind of era for me personally.
What about Robbie motherfucking Jackson? May bring him back?
No.
Yeah, I guess I'll do storylines. Now, this might be controversial, and I don't care what your stance is. Just please don't start a riot in the comment sections. I don't care what your stance is. A proper abortion storyline. I don't want one that's like, oh damn, I don't want this baby. Oh, the abortion's done. Wow, that was only like 5 minutes. It's like getting a bowl of cereal. No, I don't want it. I want a proper one that plays out. Then obviously you have like, so you either bring in new characters for this. So you have obviously the woman who doesn't want the baby, and then you have the dad be a right wing nutter where he like falls into pro-life. The baby is a person in the room. Blah, 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 blah. Shut the fuck
and he's
up.
Irish.
Oh no, but it's even worse. Ash, he's Northern Irish. Oh. And he has a dark secret that he works for a certain organisation that we can't mention. Oh, imagine like they did in the 90s. They wanted you to do.
I mean, I think it'd be interesting to see some form of like county lines type thing, where it's like it's like people running drugs for like not families but like dealers using kids to sell drugs, and kind of they are used as a fall guys, but they're in over their head and they have to do worse and worse stuff. Like, you could easily use this current crop. You could easily use Avani, Denzel, Nugget, Amy. Like, there's a good crop of kids that could, if you bring in a big dealer who's forcing all these kids to work, and they kind of get them embedded in this drug culture. And you could kind of toe the line with some like addiction or drug abuse, which EastEnders is a joke believes is currently happening. um, or some form of bollocks. I had another idea that I have now forgotten because I got caught in the feed thinking about that story. Shit. There was something else interesting. You talk. I need to think.
Oh, see, I don't really know what story. I just want diverse storylines. Like have like a group of teenagers bully someone if they're trans, gay, or from a different culture. I think that would be interesting, but actually show it, how it affects them, and then obviously you can go a darker path, you can go a more light-hearted path, up to you. Also, just some nice things to happen. Maybe someone has a baby, maybe someone doesn't have a baby. Just some nice
I
hopeful
mean, you
things.
can also do more light-hearted stuff. Like, you can focus on the slightly lesser characters. You can still focus on like Yolande. Give Big Mo a storyline for fuck's sake. Like, give some of get Jean another proper storyline because it's been a while since she's actually had a proper one to like get her teeth into. Kind of want to reestablish Kat and Alfie like as a couple again properly, because yeah, sure, they got together, but now they've just been basically flatmates is what's basically been happening with them. I do forget what my other idea of a storyline was, so that's never coming back. But yeah, county lines or some, I don't know, some teen storyline that I think would be interesting. Oh, I think it would be interesting to depict kind of being radicalized in a way where someone, maybe not Barney, but like someone of that sort of character kind of gets a bit indoctrinated into like, oh, you are now radically left leaning, or you are radically right leaning, or you now have a problem with a set group of people, or you now start to discriminate in a way. I think it would be another interesting storyline. Not that I want to see it, because those storylines are always pretty fucking hard to watch anyways.
So
But
just give it to Nugget, because he's already doing it with Nish. He's taking Nish's.
he could be an incel.
I just
Don't really want to see him being an incel, but you could easily do that.
So the UK equivalent of a MAGA supporter is a Reform supporter. Just make him a Reform supporter. He really loves Nigel Farage. He has like posters on his wall. He has like a little Nigel Farage doll that he like caresses. Just love you, Nigel. Maybe if you don't want to use Nigel Farage, you just get someone who looks like Nigel Farage.
But I don't know. Apparently, all my storylines are just about giving the teens something to do. Because we have a really talented crop of teen actors. We have a really good cast of teen actors, and you don't want to not use them and have them leave because they want to do something else. So you want to give them something substantial. I do want to explore who Teddy's mum is. I do want to know who that is, because they kind of kept implying that there was some connection with Phil, and maybe they were more than like cousins or something. I want to see more gay characters. Fundamentally, I want there to be more queer relationships on the show. Like you have Suki and Eve. That's it?
Yeah.
That's the only gay representation. I would like there to be. Yeah, but Felix isn't in a relationship. Oh, usually if they're in a big relationship, they have the big fan base. But there's only Suki and Eve, which still has the big fan base. But I'd still like there to be, maybe like two older men getting together. I know you don't want to recap the Suki and Eve stuff, but you can go a completely different direction.
Plus, from what one of our commenters said, apparently Suki and Eve someone's gonna cheat on one another.
Yeah, apparently.
Let's go.
Or just some some reason people thought that Nugget and Denzel were going to get together a while ago, which definitely wasn't the direction they were going. But something like that as well. I do want there to be more. I do want there to be another gay couple at least on the show, because it's like, give Johnny a relationship. If Johnny's sticking around, give Johnny a relationship. Maybe you do the Callum Johnny thing. Maybe you actually build that up. Maybe someone gets with Felix. Maybe a new character resurfaces to be with Felix, and it's like, oh, that's all lovely. Just something, man. It's a bit sparse. What else for the wish list? I mean, much the same, really. You keep a lot of the main characters you've had. You keep Cindy and Ian kind of not together, but you keep them kind of like circling each other, but not really. Like, you don't get them back together, but you want them to be you want them to be feuding, right? You do, because it's too good. And if Kathy doesn't shit on Cindy, something's gone bad. So you keep using this crop of talent. You keep using Phil. You keep using Sharon. You probably try to elevate Kat and Alfie a little bit more. You try and use some of the more undervalued characters. Give Bernie a relationship, for Christ's sake. She's been forever alone for years.
Yeah.
I think it'd be cool if Sookie and Ash kind of reunited in a way, because when Sookie left, Ash took it as, my mum is homophobically telling me to fuck off. But also it was in like a kind of way of like, no, I think you can do so much better. Like, so don't let us hold you back. I think that would be a really cool thing to explore. But yeah, I mean, there's just a lot, like nothing in particular. I did like Chris Clenshaw's era of the show, and I'm kind of apprehensive knowing that everything may change. So fundamentally, what we're doing now is pretty good. Please don't have Reese there anymore. But I think with also some of the departures, we've had some stuff about Vicky Fowler, like being in the show. Is she going to be a long-term character? Sonia's leaving. Ruby's leaving. Stacy is at some point leaving on maternity leave. Like, there's also a lot of people like currently going, so you now need to kind of replace them with like either characters who are still there, characters who are coming in, and with people probably leaving anyways. I think there's just a lot of different ways you could go. I think I also want Nicola. I want Nicola to have a really big part as well. I think she has the power to be a genuine leading lady in the show. So it would be a shame if they didn't capitalize on the new Mitchells.
Explore her relationship with Zach.
Yeah.
That he's apparently Barney's father, so.
Yeah, might be.
So yeah, I guess that's the end of the video. We'll see you in the next one.
Well, the question is, what do you want for the next executive producer? That's the question you need to answer in the comment section.
Setting you out.